Okay, welcome into Philadelphia Walks PTSD. My name is Sharon Cole, or Sharon, or Cole, whatever you want to refer to me as. No big deal. I've been called everything under the sun. So here we are on February, 13th, um, 2023. This is day 44 of my one video each day, 365-day campaign to raise money, big or small, short or tall, $5 or 50K or 500K or 5 million. That's kind of my goal. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it isn't if you knew exactly what happened and how much I endured over the past 10, 11, 12 years. It was really bad. I don't look like much. I'm not all that in a bag of chips. Or am I a bag of chips? And I joke because maybe I'm a bag of microchips, because where's Waldo? And what does a target look like to a bunch of gang stalkers, people with agendas, people who impose upon others, people who like to get under your skin as a target? It's a very specific type of target of group stalking, mobbing, community harassment, and so much more. And most people who are targeted in this fashion have no clue what exactly started or why it began. In my case, I was made to believe I'd be murdered in my apartment by a series of orchestrated events. It took me a while for my brain to realize, I kind of knew something's wrong here. What would cause all this ruckus, or what would cause me to flip out this much over something that in a normal scenario or a natural scenario might not cause that much fear. Orchestration does cause that much fear, PTSD, trauma, and so much more. And if that weren't enough, the games commenced, and a whole bunch of people who I had sort of networked with and went to Christmas parties or holiday parties or ran with, volunteered with, participated in the dragon boat racing team with, and all this other stuff. It's almost like the turning of the heads. There's a name for it, but it's like the evil side turns out. All of these people, every single person I met is no longer a friend. Why? Because they are part of a very dark and disturbing world. And some of that world includes being part of intentional communities, orchestrated communities, and people with serious agendas that they impose upon a single person. Can you imagine being ganged up on by, tens of thousands of people? And that is not overestimating or exaggerating. I was tortured by people who have grown up and been taught something since day one, which allows them to feel superior even though they aren't. Why aren't they superior? Because they really don't know what it's like to have a natural, normal life. I'm guessing they never got to have a normal childhood. They are so agendaed and intentional communityed out, they don't know what it's like to just be a normal kid, to go out and play kickball in the street with your neighbors without having an agenda already in advance. Wow, that causes a lot of brain damage on them. I was looking for, I'm all excited. I found some people to network with. I'm warm, I'm cozy. I love all that cuddly stuff. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy life while also working hard and so forth and so on. But all of these people don't grow up normally. They have been trained and programmed so badly that they actually think it's okay to do what they did. And they're brainwashed so badly that they will unleash their intentionalness upon you, believing something about you. It's akin to the idea of people growing up in a very strict, say, Bible Belt community. No offense to these people, but they may believe something so harshly and so badly that anyone they come across is inferior if they don't know what they know. They are not willing to entertain other people's educations or experiences in life. I am at least willing to understand other people. That's a real human being. I'm kind of curious where these people came from. What's the dealio? Some people I feel sorry for because they probably have never experienced excitement or love. They are programmed so badly that they don't even know if they're in a marriage, this is what we're supposed to do now? Now we got to do this. Now we got to do that. Okay. They don't know what it's like to feel natural. It was so blatantly obvious what was going on. You want to talk about in plain sight. You want to bring up Pizzagate? I kind of bought the Pizzagate theory that was being peddled because I was being tortured so badly in plain sight. It's done in such a way so that it's like you can't really go to authorities or police about it. It's done through a very subtle network of people who murder other people's brains. They feel superior. They're actually inferior big time. It is disturbing. Very disturbing. Now, in plain sight, there are crimes going on all the time against humanity, and people don't get justice. And I was being spun around in this city so badly and trapped in a network of people who paid me to dog walk and house sit and everything else. It is an honest living. I worked my ass off because they had me from one river to the other, all over the city. I didn't have a cute little community where some people are sort of isolated in one area, or they get the luxury of staying around where they live. All of my dog walks are basically in this quadrant of the city, and I say quadrant on purpose, or ward would be a better word, because this place can be a prison big time. Philadelphia promotes prison mentalities. So I didn't get that luxury. I did try to put a positive spin on it. I was like, I'm a moving target. Someone was like, sounds like you're a moving target. So in a way, if you were having to go from all the way from the Schuylkill River, and then you need to be all the way within 15 minutes, all the way down by 3rd and Tasker and Dickinson, or similar, Dickinson Park, or whatever it is. It sounds like somebody wants to see who would actually communicate that far to see when you would show up, or even almost follow you. The problem is I was tortured and trapped within a group of people who were willing to pay. They look innocent, like, well, they paid her to keep going through this whole thing while she was being tortured on the streets. And even at home, through email communications with people who communicated through email for various reasons, school and or work, or anytime I would look for anything else. Some of these people are all out puppeted. They are so programmed, they don't even know that they are timed. It's like, God, I can't believe her text came through at this time. They may not even be aware that's how gutted out people are in our society. I had to learn this from other people. But I was so trapped. I could see how someone could spiral down into, technically I wound up during homeless for a brief period of time. I had to live in a van for 6 weeks, and I called around to 1 million people, kind of hopped around, and finally stayed in someone's home for 8 months until I was able to get to Florida. I see it now as someone wanted to bring me down underground secretly. This is not going to feel good. It's going to be unpleasant, but we're going to pop you up over here and send you back to Florida, and send you to Florida. I never lived there to begin with. We'll send you down there and see what happens. See how far people go, and see who else is part of orchestrated communities. Gainesville knows a little bit about this stuff. And you would think, oh, this is a small town. And it's so funny to come from a big city and go to a fairly small town, even if they have a university. I don't care. There are people there who think they're all that in a bag of chips. They are a bag of chips. That's how roboted people are. It is disturbing that people thought it was okay to do this to me. And I want to know if they ever wonder, or are they so programmed to keep going as if they never did anything wrong? Do they ever worry? Because there's some very serious, heinous things that happened. Being trapped in dog walking, and I even tried to get jobs. I had 2 or 3 interviews. I had an editing test. I had like moments of, okay, now I can feel like maybe I could try to get out this way. Maybe I could try to get out this way. I couldn't. So I can see how people could spiral into a weird, bizarre situation through no fault of their own. So Pizzagate seemed like a reality that they could actually, there are very sick, sadistic, controlling people out there. They might run franchises. Franchise is kind of a pyramid scheme in and of itself. And what are they doing? So it wasn't like totally beyond belief to watch some of these videos about Pizzagate back in the day. Other people are like, that is ridiculous. It isn't. There are people homeless on the street. How'd they get there? And you just assume drugs, but there could be people out here who wind up in situations they can't figure out how to get out. Dog walking became that experience for me because enough, like I'm saying enough, please. We are talking tens of thousands of people. I live in a big city. This happened every day, every second of every day, nonstop, even overnight. And then I went back and forth to New York for 2 years. I got accepted into a program there to get an MFA, which I was grateful for. I'm like, I guess I'll do that, except I don't want to have to ever pay a student loan back. Thank you, Biden, by the way. And class action suits. But I went back and forth on buses, and it is disturbing to see that there are people I'm showing up in New York and I'm like, I can't look. At least it's so crowded there that some of the activity isn't as obvious because there's just so many people that it's possible at times good people could outnumber the people who are part of these networks, but it's a serious problem there as well. And I want to know how funded this thing, or how wealthy some people are, or how many people actually went on to get an MFA just to participate in something and wound up in my classes. And I want to know how they got the money and if their families are criminal. And other people want to know that too, not just me. So anyway, just wanted to say, these people impose something big time. I don't know what some people thought they were doing. Some people just assume they're better, and they grow up in these communities or in these households that don't foster love and relationships and, enjoyment. I don't know what to say, coziness, warmth. They foster agenda all the time, programming. We live life on purpose all the time. Then you don't know what it's like to be real, and that kind of sucks. You will always be missing something, and you will always have to learn from other people how to be real. Real people just are who they are, and they know it's okay, and they get to enjoy God's green earth. Even funnier, because some of these people preach religion. God would roll over in his grave because he wants people to enjoy life in a real way, not imposing beliefs upon others, or imposing harm upon others, or being overly intentional, or being intentional at all. It's one thing to say prep for a job interview. These people are so orchestrated out the ASS. It is ridiculous. They are not real people any longer. They don't have brains. They are officially part of the Nazi movement, as far as I'm concerned. Another point to make here, too, is I don't impose my beliefs. People can choose, just like on TV, you can choose to listen or not listen. You can choose to watch the news. I don't have that much of a viewing. It's not that big a deal. But people can choose to listen to me, or they could choose not to. I'm not out here standing in front of someone's homes, pushing my agenda on them. I'm not standing outside their window carrying out a skit, mocking whatever they purchased yesterday. That actually happened. Or purchased in life. Why would you ever buy a reload bag when you can buy a Timbuktu bag for $30 online? Reload bags are messenger bags, often associated with bike messengers or similar. They were very popular here. I don't even know if Reload, the company, is still open, but these are handmade bike messenger type bags. And for many years, I wanted one. I'm like, it'd be totally awesome to have one of those. And when I took on dog walking as more of a full-time pursuit, as a temporary full-time pursuit, as a stepping stone, because I wanted to move to the Pacific Northwest, I decided to finally get one, to finally invest in one. This was a big decision because they are a little bit costly, but that thing was worth the money and more because I wore that thing, God, for 8-9 years. And I would grocery shop with that. So I put all my groceries in there. I rode my bike all the time. But people I want to know who those people were. We are talking a group of 3 or 4 people standing outside my window, and I had an air conditioning unit. I had just gotten back from a bunch of dog walks, and they had to project their voices in order to be heard, in order to be stupid and annoying outside my window. The problem is they were one of a million, a dime a dozen, these people are. They are not special at all, and they're not unique. Real people are unique these days. They actually did that. I have a more heinous situation. I woke up one morning, my mouth was moving to a song. I don't know how early in the morning it was fairly early, but I realized I had cracked my window a little bit to let air in. It's kind of rare because I kind of did like cover up my windows and stuff to try to block out the people walking by who were being morons or standing outside my window being. It was open a little bit, and I realized there was a woman, I believe it was a woman standing out there, a white woman, who was singing a song. And because I was in half sleep or REM state, I don't know what stage of sleep I was in or waking up from, but I guess she learned how to be evil. People who practice this too much will pay the price, or practice it at all. I don't even know where you learn this. But she was able to pump it through my mouth, per se. That is a form of rape. It should be a felony charge or greater. To actually try to take over another person, I want to know if that person wonders what's going to happen after she dies. Because people do die. Where do they go? Will people pay the price either here on earth or after death? And will they be aware of it? That is disgusting. I had so many things going on all the time. Somehow I've flipped out at first, but somehow my brain did a flip really quick. I had to learn how to do a whole bunch of things really quick. I had to learn that a whole bunch of people who I thought were friends and someone who pretended to be an admirer and everything, they rejected me just like that. As soon as the games began, just after I believed I'd be murdered in my apartment. And when you would call around to people seeking support, they did the opposite. I receive the wrong thing from people. They never do the right thing. And it does continue on. Like I talked about a yoga studio where I just worked at. They did the wrong thing. They didn't do the right thing. And they're doing it on purpose, but I don't know why. I'm still being hurt and victimized. That is disgusting. I kind of wish that person dead, and I don't care how I sound. I have no idea who it is. I don't know where she came from. I don't know how she knew and stalked and stood outside all these people are also stalkers, which is part of the reason they're called gang stalkers. I have no idea where these people live. The only people I would know where an address of would be people I personally know. These people don't personally know me. They never engaged with me except for the core group of people who I networked with and thought I was friends with or thought they were friends with me. Meanwhile, they were spending all their time setting me up. And they look healthy. It's not like some drug-ridden world of, oh, they're all never do well. Nope. These people participate in seemingly healthy things. I want to know when they're going to pay the price. Legally, of course. They didn't do anything legal. I had to spend the whole day, I had to learn how to click things out of my brain right quick in order to protect myself. I do know I went to a client of mine later, and I forget if I brought that up, but he mentioned something weird. He said, oh, is it someone's birthday today? And that started to create an association between people's birthdays and me being tortured more. It turns out it was someone's birthday, not someone I know that well, but someone who's loosely connected to the family. Did they do it in that person's honor? Or is it some weird thing where they choose people's birthdays of people you would kind of know, or are either in the family, loosely connected to the family, or similar, and they do it in order to create a divide? That's my issue. Do these people keep trying to form a wedge so that you feel separated from or don't even trust people who you would normally trust because they came from your community or loosely connected or they're a distant relative or what have you? And you're not sure who to trust. There were things that actually happened on people's birthdays, And it was crazy. And I'm calling people apologizing because I'm like, am I supposed to apologize to people? Did I get slammed for doing something wrong to someone? I never did. People did wrong by me, and I felt like I had to apologize to them. And I did to a couple people because I thought, will that change everything? Will that fix whatever it is? This is some seriously fucked up mental bullshit. And this went on for years, not just a couple days, not just a week. I'm out here thinking, and the universe would say things like, it's hard to explain. I'm thinking to myself, how much longer? And I would hear someone down the street say, oh, just 7 more months. As if they could hear me consider, like, how much longer is this going to last, this thing, whatever it is. And I would wonder if their universe was echoing back the answer. There was somebody with like Mambo Movers or whatever. They were like, I could hear the guy like a block and a half or several blocks down. I literally thought to myself, how much longer is it? I thought to myself, I didn't say it out loud. God, how much longer is this going to last? About 7 more months. But that wasn't the right answer because this was in 2011. This thing, it still goes on, but to a much lesser degree. But I even called people up apologizing to people who should have apologized to me because I'm thinking, well, I distanced myself from some relatives really so that I could feel free because those people are very oppressive. They probably don't think they're oppressive, but some personalities don't mix very well. And I needed to be able to emerge and assert my independence and become an adult. There are people out there who oppress people so badly that they keep people in infantilized, inferior mode because they always have to be superior. In fact, they need to be superior so much that I was attacked by their people per se. They're part of the same group, whether they know each other personally or not. And I had to call people and apologize. There are people, even on my stepmother's birthday, I don't know what it is. The universe made my body feel so bad. It's in the realm of depression, but it's like a fake, it's like put on people. It's hard to explain. I've experienced things where I'm like, in 2018, they did things to me. And when the pandemic came around, I was like, I think they can put symptoms on people. You could have a positive read on a rapid test and they could create symptoms. I'm so not kidding. In 2018, no one knew coronavirus was going to be here, or did they? I'm kidding. I don't know. I kind of wonder. I have no idea. But they can put stuff on. It's like, seems like witchcraft or voodoo, or is there technology? Or what can people do? Are there people up in the astral plane somewhere? Because they can come down and give me a nebulizer. If you have shortness of breath, because I never really had shortness of breath, especially after being so healthy. And many, many years ago, I started running and working out, and I knew what it was like to actually have a nice full breath that goes right deep into the diaphragm of the body, and so forth and so on. And of course, with yoga, I learned how to breathe a certain way. And I was very serious about yoga. In 2018, I wound up experiencing this weird, like, I'm not getting a full breath, and it's like shortness of breath. And then the angels from above, I don't know, all of a sudden, as if I had an inhaler that like someone with asthma would have. My aunt actually had asthma, so she would have those nebulizers or whatever they are. What is it? Who are they? I kind of say, oh, they must be giants, and we have these giant supermarkets that just showed up and opened up just at the end of the pandemic in 2021. And one giant on the Riverwalk, which happens to be on the second floor. So when we had that epic flood, that godlike flood, the food wasn't truly affected because they were on the second floor. The flood did come into that area big time. And there were cars in the garage and everything that are all, got all messed up. And people's basements along the Riverwalk of people who lived there had serious damage. But the giant at the Riverwalk, because the food was on the second floor, they weren't that affected other than the concern over moisture or what have you, or mold developing. But the actual grocery store did not get water damage. It would be under where they had delivery pickup and a Starbucks and a garage and the escalator and an elevator. So anyway, But with all that said, I'm just saying, even on my stepmother's birthday, whoever they are, they created this, like, I don't know what it is. My body felt god awful all day. And it's not like a normal nausea. It's not like it's in the world of depression, but it's like put on. And I passed by people in Washington Square with their insanity workout, because the 12th Street Gym used to have people who did the insanity workout. And I had a dog walk that I came from and had to walk through there that day. And I remember hearing the instructor of the insanity workout. Wonder why they had a workout called insanity during that time period. I know why. And because of what these intentional communities do. But I heard her say, if you feel like you're going through hell, keep going. I kept going because it whatever it is like they put you through a very serious hell. And your brain can never figure out, as a real person, and even people who come from intentional communities, they don't know what that is. They haven't experienced it. They will never, because they can never evolve. People from intentional communities will never truly evolve. You have to be a real person to evolve. Okay, so have a great day, and hey, get out there and try to be real today. Oh, wait, we're in Philly. Thanks.